Hello, this is Eldoric The Guardian Tank, here with another instructional video. This time we're going to be taking a look at the Druid, and of course we have my beloved Eldoric, kneeling before Ysera and Hyjal. It seemed like a fitting place to actually do this. Alright, well, let's take a look at that talent tree. Now, Druids are in the most unique location when it comes to being a tank in a lot of ways. The main one is, as you can see right here, is that their talent tree for feral combat is both tank and damage. So, interesting there. We're going to quickly run through. Now, this spec is okay. This will get you through. It hits all the major talents that you're going to need. Some people like to tweak things. That's fine. But let's talk about each one of these real fast. We're going to start out here with Feral Swiftness. Now, as you can see, it increases your movement speed by 30% cat. Okay, fine. What you really want, though, is it increases your dodge by 4% in bear form. Now, it's important to remember, Druids do not have parry, so they rely very heavily on dodge. So this, in your first tier, is just some free dodge, and you want it. And to be honest with you, the speed in cat form isn't bad. It allows you to get places a little bit quicker, particularly if you're running back after dying. You slip into cat form. Fury. Now this has been around for a long time. It used to be in the restoration tree, and used to only put a little bit in here, but now they've changed it up. And it grants you a 100% chance to gain Tame Rage when you shift into Bear. Okay, that's the part you care about. It's pretty good. If you need energy, or if you need rather rage, just pop in and out. It gives you a little bit. And now, since, well, we'll talk about that in a minute, but Enrage does not increase damage for bears. This also will help, because this costs mana. Okay. Now, Predatory Strikes, you're going to stay away. That's a cat ability. You do not want it. Moving on, Infective Wounds. This is one of your primary debuffs that you're going to see as a tank. Now, it's your attack speed debuff. It reduces it by 20%. This can be found with other tanks, so you want to pick this up. Now, unlike Thunderclap for the warrior, which is very AoE and it gets on a whole bunch, this is done off of your primary moves. Primarily Maul and Mangle. That I'll show you in bear form in 1 second. So, you can't apply it as easily, but on a primary target, on a boss, you're going to need it, and it's automatically applied. You don't have to do anything but spec into this. Alright, Fury Swipes. Now, this one is good. It's basically a threat increase. When you auto-attack in bear form, you have a 15% chance to cause a Fury Swipe, dealing 310% weapon damage. And it can't core more than every 3 seconds. Good threat buff. You could take it. You're going to kind of need it to keep moving, to be honest with you. So it's a good one to go for. All right, Primal Fury, you do want. This gives you a 100% chance to gain 5 additional rage anytime you critically strike. Now, critical strike for a bear tank is huge. A lot of your survivability and threat is based off of this. So this is very similar to what the warriors have with block specialization, which allows you to gain rage for every time you block. Since crit in a way functions like that for a druid, this is a similar talent. Now, fail aggression, at the end of the day, you're going to have an extra point in this, so The main thing is the feral fire stacks. It's good. Moving along, you're going to skip King of the Jungle. This is one of the ones you can go for if you want. I've chosen not to. Basically, when you enrage, it's going to increase your damage. Feral Charge, you definitely need this. This is huge. This allows you, it's the Jack of all trades charge that you get as a bear. It has a 15-second cooldown, and now it doesn't cost any rage to use. It used to cost rage, making it a pain to use as an opener, because no matter what you had to like shift, or you had to enrage, and enrage used to cause more damage on you, and you didn't want to do that, so you couldn't charge him. This is very helpful that they changed that, so you want it. Now, Stampede. This increases your melee haste by 30% after your feral charge for 8 seconds. Now, this is one of the things you can actually easily get rid of. I put it in there basically for AoE threat, because of the level that gear-wise Eldoric is at the moment. I like to charge in and as quickly as possible. Now, haste is not the greatest stat for a bear tank, but it allowed me to get a little more threat out before the DPS went crazy. So I liked it for that reason. But you can feel free to drop that, throw it over here in the Canine Jungle if you want to use that. Take it into Fatal Aggression or move everything down to here. This is very, very optional and situational. Initially starting out, it's not half bad, but again, not critical. Something that is critical is you're going to want Thick Hide because increases your armor. Definitely going to want to have it. So a very, very good option for you there. Leader of the Pack, it wears two hats. What it does is one is it gives you a buff. And you can see I'll shift down into form here. It's right there and increases your critical strike chance by 5. Now remember, a lot of the Savage Defense model and gaining rage is based off of your critical strike. So getting some free and then passing along to your group is great. Also, you heal yourself 4% of your health when you get a melee critical strike, which you're going to be doing fairly often because, again, it's tied into a lot of your survivability. Now, this can end up as overheal, but it's there. It's a little extra survivability. You definitely want this talent. Moving on, you have Brutal Impact. What this does is twofold. One, it increases the duration of your bash ability, right here, which is just a stun, and Skull Bash, which is your primary interrupt. It reduces the time on that. So you're probably going to have this, again, it's a utility that you're going to need. Moving along, you have Feral Instinct. This is your primary cooldown. This is your big one. It has a 3-minute cooldown, and for 12 seconds, it reduces all damage by 50%. You absolutely must pick this up. Now, Endless Carnage. The main thing you get from this is that it increases the duration of Pulverize by 8 seconds. I find it worthwhile. It takes the stress off of building and consuming stacks of Lacerate when you're actually going through your rotation a bit, which I will show in a later video. It just gives you a little fluff room, makes things easier. I highly recommend picking it up. Okay, Natural Reaction, an absolute must. This is your crit reduction ability that all tanks must get. And you get a double dip in here and you get 6% dodge from it. That's free. So if you include that here, and you go up here, that's 10% free flat dodge that you get to pick up. And also, you generate 3 rage every time you dodge. So you get dodging, you get rage from dodge, and you get from critical strikes. So that's a great way to build it without necessarily having to be hit or getting hit. It allows you to actually generate it on your own. Rend and Tear. Now you're gonna. This ability down here, Lacerate, is very important, and on any boss, you're going to have it up. Even after you consume it for the Pulverize stacks, you're going to need it immediately. So you're going to go ahead and pick that up. And it increases the damage on a bleeding target, so it's a good thing. Pulverize, the main thing you get is if you consume you can have 3 stacks of Lacerate on a target at one time. If you use this ability, it does okay damage. It's not terrific. The main thing is that it gives you 3% critical strike chance for each stack of Lacerate that you have on there. So you can get up to a 9% increase to your critical strike, which again, that's where your Savage Defense, aka Absorption block, comes from. So you're going to want it. And then Berserk. Not 100% necessary, but still pretty good. What this does is it gives you a 50% chance that the periodic damage from your Lacerate will give you a free Mangle. Very good. And then you can also use it to click it, get a little extra AoE threat out there because your Mangle will then hit up to 3 targets. So it has no cooldown. So pretty decent. The main reason I like it is for the first portion here, it gives you incentive to always have Lacerate out. You know, Lacerate, you use it to build and use on Pulverize to give you your stacks, but then you want to reapply quickly in order to get your Berserk. So there you go. Now, in the balance tree, there's pretty much nothing for you, so you don't have to worry about the balance tree at all. Restoration, which is kind of the anchor of the Druid, here are the ones I would say go for. Now, Blessing of the Grove, not going to help you. Natural Shapeshifter, pretty good. Reduces the cost that you have for shifting, so not bad. Mainly you want to use it to get down here. Heart of the Wild is a good ability. It increases your stamina by 6%. Free health, you're going to want to pick it up. Here's a huge one. Perseverance reduces all spell damage taken by 6%. Reducing spell damage is always a great, wonderful, you want to have it kind of thing. So definitely want to pick up Perseverance. And then the final point I have, I like to put it into Master Shapeshifter, which increases all physical damage by 4%. Of the options you have, I like this one. It's a constant buff. You get it regardless of the form you're in. So let's say you have to shift out and do a little DPS on the boss, and then you do get that critical strike increase in cap form. So it's nice for that reason. There's also great synergy between being a cat and the bear. Even if you're primarily a bear, if you ever have to shift and do a little DPS, because you pick up, depending on your talent pickup, but generally most of these talents have a two-sided effect. So when you're feral, you kind of get the benefit of totally being feral, and you get all those extra abilities. Okay, well, that's the talents of the Druid tank. Now, again, you can adjust these any way you want. It's totally fine, but you have to hit anyone that I said was primary, you're probably going to do. So thank you very much. And of course, thank you very much, my good friend Eldoric, for joining us here today.